What happens when everything you thought you knew about family crumbles in an instant? What if on your wedding day, your family chooses a vacation over your most important moment? That's exactly what happened to me, Skylar Wilson. And I didn't know if I should be angry, heartbroken, or just relieved that I'd finally seen the truth. The morning in Greenwich broke earlier than usual, with the soft April sunlight casting a gentle glow over the cherry blossoms in St. Mary's Church garden, their petals a delicate shade of pink. Inside the historic church, Skylar Wilson was about to make the most important vow of her life. A pediatrician at the City Children's Hospital, Skylar embodied a quiet strength beneath her warm, gentle smile. Her deep sense of sincerity and unwavering commitment had earned her the trust of her colleagues, while her compassion shone brightly in the smiles of the hospitalized children she photographed on her days off. With an annual income of $150,000, her professional success was a testament to her dedication. Her fiancé, Jasper Chen, served as a branch manager at a regional IT company. Raised by Chinese immigrant parents, Jasper had a profound respect for family bonds and was known for his humble and approachable personality. Despite his impressive $200,000 salary, he never let his success define him. Skylar and Jasper had met at a hospital charity event, and their connection had been immediate. Skylar's family, the Wilsons, were well-known figures in the social circles of Greenwich. Her father, Blaine Wilson, was the president of Wilson Properties, a real estate management company with annual sales reaching $20 million. However, in recent years, he had become more consumed with golf than with the day-to-day management of his business, spending more time posting on social media than focusing on his work. His obsession with appearances and social status was well known in the business world. Skylar's mother, Meredith, was a respected figure in local society as a full-time housewife, but in recent years, she had shifted her focus to social media, amassing 20,000 followers and documenting her frequent spa visits. Her preoccupation with garnering likes had caused Skylar concern. Skylar's sister, Kendall, had landed a position as the financial director at their father's company, but her true passion seemed to lie in managing her social media accounts. With 100,000 followers and a monthly income of $110,000, Kendall spent the bulk of her earnings maintaining her appearance. In the midst of all this, Brielle Anderson had become a unique presence in the Wilson family's life. As the owner of the region's largest shopping complex, Anderson Mall, Brielle was also Wilson Properties' most important client, with annual transactions valued at $10 million. With $500 million in assets, Brielle was not only known for her business acumen, but also for her grace and dignity. She was a respected figure in the community, especially admired for her generous contributions to the Children's Hospital, where Skylar worked. Having watched Skylar grow up, Brielle was more than just a client. She was a trusted family friend. The guest list for the wedding was equally impressive. From Skylar's father's side, there were 5 sets of aunts and uncles, and 8 cousins, all prominent figures in the community, maintaining the family tradition. On her mother's side, there was a mix of more liberal-minded relatives, including a grandmother, 3 sets of aunts and uncles, and 6 cousins. Also in attendance were important local figures, including Mr. and Mrs. Brielle Anderson, 2 of Skylar's fellow doctors, 3 sets of business partners and executives, childhood friends with their families, and the church's pastor and his wife. This carefully curated guest list was a reflection of the high social standing the Wilson family had worked hard to achieve. The wedding budget was $100,000. Formal attire was specified for the guests, and everything had been perfectly prepared for this special day. Everyone had been looking forward to this spring day with the cherry blossoms in full bloom. In the bridal room of St. Mary's Church, Skylar sat motionless before a large mirror, dressed in a pure white wedding gown. Maria, the professional makeup artist, was carefully applying the final touches. Linda, a longtime friend, was gently adjusting the lace veil while occasionally glancing outside. The spring morning sun illuminated the cherry blossoms blooming in the church garden, creating a scene as beautiful as a painting, with petals dancing in the wind. "Still no sign of your mother and the others?" There was a hint of anxiety in Linda's voice. Meredith should have arrived by now. She had promised to come early to take photos for social media posts. Just last night, she had sent a message saying, "Let's take wonderful photos first thing in the morning." No contact at all. It's strange. Skylar anxiously stared at her smartphone screen. There were no calls or messages from her parents. Even Kendall's Instagram, which was usually updated every 30 minutes, hadn't been updated since the night before. Her stories, typically updated every half hour, remained silent. Your complexion is getting a bit pale, Maria spoke with concern, though her hands didn't stop working on the makeup. Worry lines appeared between her brows. She could see the bride's skin gradually turning ashen. Sarah, the wedding planner, entered the room with her checklist in hand. I've completed the final confirmation with the pastor. Now, she began, then noticed the atmosphere in the room. Where's your family? No one could answer. The heavy silence that filled the room intensified the ominous feeling. Outside, the voices of arriving guests could be heard. Whispers of, I don't see any of the Wilsons, and how strange, carried on the wind to the bridal room. Skylar's smartphone rang. The screen displayed Mom. All eyes in the room turned to Skylar at once. The air in the room seemed to freeze. Mom, are you almost at the church? What came through the receiver was an unexpectedly cheerful voice. The sound of waves and lively music could be heard in the background. Oh, Skylar, I'm in Hawaii right now. For a moment, she couldn't comprehend the words. It felt like hearing a bad joke. What? Today is my wedding day. Oh, was that today? I thought a vacation would be more fun. Her sister's mocking laughter could be heard in the background. Mom, this beach chair is amazing! The sound of waves made that laughter even more cutting. Skylar's hands began to shake. The pure white dress trembled slightly. A single tear rolling down her cheek slowly smudged the makeup Maria had so carefully applied. You're joking, right? Her voice trembled, whether from anger or sadness. Even she couldn't tell anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Sophie's spring break, so we thought a family vacation should take priority. More laughter from her sister. This angle is perfect for Instagram. I'll send you pictures later. It's such a lovely resort hotel. My followers will love it. The call ended. The smartphone slipped from Skylar's hand, making a dull thud on the carpet. That sound echoed loudly in her heart. Linda, Maria, Sarah, everyone stood frozen, watching this unbelievable situation unfold. Only time passed mercilessly in the soft morning light. Then there was a quiet knock at the door. 3 short knocks. It was as if fate itself had come calling. Excuse me, Skylar. Behind the open door stood Brielle Anderson, carrying herself with dignity. She held an iPad in her hands. There was a determination in her bearing that hadn't been seen before. Mrs. Anderson, why... Skylar's voice trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the anticipation of something significant about to begin. I saw it on social media, your family's posts. The iPad screen displayed photos of the Wilson family smiling on a Hawaiian beach. In those photos, they were laughing as if they felt no pain at all. 20 years of friendship. I've watched over you. Brielle's voice mixed quiet anger with deep affection. In her eyes was something that seemed like certainty born from years of experience. Today, let me take the place of your family. At Brielle's words, tears welled up in Skylar's eyes, but they weren't tears of sorrow, they were warm tears, the kind that come when touched by deep, unconditional love. Let's post right now. Brielle's voice was steady, carrying a quiet resolve, a signal that the counterattack was about to begin. Post, you mean? Skylar asked, uncertain. Yes, Brielle confirmed. On their precious social media. But first, let's take a beautiful photo. Brielle gently took Skylar's hand, the warmth of her touch comforting, as if making up for the lack of love Skylar had felt from her own family. Together, they walked to the center of the church, standing before the vibrant stained glass windows. Sunlight streamed through the glass, enveloping them in a spectrum of rainbow-colored light, as though heaven itself was blessing them in this moment. Let's create new bonds between us, Brielle said softly. The sound of church bells rang out, as if heralding the start of a new day. The bell's chimes echoed across Greenwich, symbolizing that today would be one to remember. Skylar nodded, wiping away her tears. In that moment, she was beginning to understand what true love and family really meant, something far beyond what she had ever known before. As guests began arriving at St. Mary's Church, the spring sunlight bathed the church spire, casting colorful patterns on the floor as it filtered through the stained glass windows. The first to arrive was her paternal grandfather, his dignified face lined with deep wrinkles and his neatly trimmed white beard a testament to years of wisdom. He stepped into the church with authority, adjusting his morning coat collar as he made his way forward. Brielle, ever the composed figure, quietly explained the situation to him. "What's happened?" Her grandfather's voice trembled, whether from anger or sorrow, it was hard to tell. His expression reflected the complex emotions swirling inside him. As someone who had long been the protector of the Wilson family's reputation, this situation was nothing short of appalling. "This cannot be forgiven." His words, heavy with the weight of his 80 years, resonated throughout the church. His hand gripped his cane tightly, the sound of it striking the wooden floor echoing with every step. Next came Skylar's maternal aunt, her face pale and stricken with disbelief. At a loss for words, she took Skylar's hand in silence, her tears speaking volumes about the deep familial bond that connected them. How could they do something so terrible? Her voice trembled with sadness at the betrayal of the family's trust. One by one, relatives arrived, each struck speechless at the news, their shock turning quickly to anger. Skylar's colleagues from the hospital, typically composed even in the face of crisis, were visibly furious. These professionals, who usually remained unflappable in the most intense situations, now could not stay silent about this betrayal. Business partners who had been in high-level meetings with Skylar's family wore expressions of stern disapproval, a clear signal that they understood the gravity of what had happened. Longtime friends from Skylar's childhood embraced her in silence. No words necessary, just the warmth of their presence told the full story. The ties forged over years of shared memories now felt even stronger, reinforcing the love and loyalty that had always existed. In the church garden, the cherry blossoms had reached their peak, their petals scattering gently in the breeze. The sight was so beautiful that it almost seemed surreal, as if today's events couldn't possibly be real. But they were. The beauty of the moment contrasted sharply with the storm of emotions swirling within the walls of St. Mary's, signaling the beginning of a new chapter for Skylar and her family, a chapter filled with strength, resilience, and newfound bonds. The wedding ceremony time was approaching. The air in the old church gradually took on a solemn atmosphere. The pastor approached quietly and offered special words of blessing. His presence carried the weight of having performed many weddings in this church for over 40 years. "Your wedding today will be pleasing in God's eyes because it is surrounded by the true love of all people here. Sometimes God gives us trials, but beyond those trials, deeper love awaits." Skylar and Jasper stood in the center of the chapel. Light streaming through the stained glass windows gently enveloped them. That light seemed like a blessing from heaven. All the guests watched with strong will. Their gazes were filled with love and determination. The pastor's voice echoed through the church. His voice shook the old church beams and reached deep into the hearts of all attendees. Jasper held Skylar's hand strongly, yet gently. The feelings conveyed through that hand were more eloquent than words. "Skylar." His voice carried deep affection. The surrounding air grew even more still. "I vow before you now, though we may not be bound by blood, we will become a new family, and together with all the people gathered here, we will nurture eternal bonds with everyone who is gathered at this moment. Today, we will weave a new family story." Shining drops fell from Skylar's eyes, but unlike the morning, these were tears of happiness. Those tears created small stains on her wedding dress, while shining as proof of new hope. After the ceremony, the guests gathered at the reception venue. There was a strong unity there that transcended blood ties. The expressions of those surrounding the tables now showed not just sadness and anger, but new determination. Her paternal grandfather slowly stood up. The venue fell silent. His figure holding a glass was as dignified as a statue. Today, I feel the deepest anger of my life, and simultaneously the deepest emotion. His voice carried a strength that belied his age. The dignity cultivated through years of business and the weight of being the family head were contained in each word. The parents and sister did not come to my granddaughter's wedding. This can never be forgiven. In the name of family, there has never been such a disgrace in the Wilson family's history. A moment of silence. Heavy yet powerful air dominated the venue. However, witnessing the love of everyone gathered here, I am convinced true family is not just about blood ties. Rather, this kind of mutual care and support is the true proof of family. Brielle Anderson quietly stood up. Her presence carried the dignity of a successful businesswoman and the maternal affection of a mother. Everyone, I have a proposal. The atmosphere in the venue grew even more tense. All eyes were fixed on her. We are now bound by new ties. Shall we give those ties form on social media, the place they value most? The maternal aunt stood up, wiping away tears. Her hands were still trembling. Surely there's something we can all do together. Let's transform our anger and sadness toward my sister into love for our new family. One by one, the guests began offering opinions. These were constructive proposals that went beyond anger and sadness. Each word carried strong will and determination. Naturally, a large circle formed. 50 guests joined hands. That circle drew a perfect circle, as if symbolizing the bonds of the new family. Let's combine our strength as a new family. Brielle's voice echoed through the venue. That voice carried expectations for the new story about to begin. Jasper squeezed Skylar's hand tightly. All their feelings were contained in that grip. Everyone who came to our wedding today is our true family. We want to walk our new life together with all of you who chose heart connections over blood ties. All the guests made a vow while holding hands. At that moment, the church bells rang out. It was a pure tone, as if blessing the birth of new bonds. That sound echoed throughout Greenwich, as if announcing that this was a special day. Brielle quietly took out her smartphone. Her expression showed quiet determination for the counterattack about to begin. Skylar's post was quietly released into the social media world. A single photo taken in front of the stained glass windows with spring sunlight behind them. Skylar in her wedding dress standing close to Brielle Anderson with her dignified presence. Their expressions showed deep affection and quiet determination. Below the photo, Skylar's words began to unfold. I'd like to introduce today's special guest, Mrs. Brielle Anderson, owner of Anderson Mall. She has been a family friend for 20 years and has always cared for me since I was little. The post was displayed in real time on the reception menu's screen. All guests watched with bated breath. This morning, I received a call from my mother saying she would miss the wedding. The entire family had chosen to cancel on the biggest day of my life, all because they thought Hawaii would be more fun. A few sighs swept through the venue, but these weren't sighs of sadness. They were laden with anticipation for what was about to unfold. Amidst all of this, Mrs. Anderson stepped in, saying, "We cannot let your new life begin this way." Miss Anderson, who has supported me with a warmth beyond what family has shown, was there when my own father, mother, and sister opted for a vacation in Hawaii. She's showing me what true maturity and adulthood really mean. Within minutes of sharing my thoughts, reactions flooded in. The first to respond were those from the local community, followed closely by the business world. The ripples quickly spread across social circles, and soon, voices from all corners of the social media world started pouring in. An emergency meeting was called for the remaining guests at the venue. Let's decide how to proceed from here. Brielle Anderson's calm, authoritative voice resonated across the room. An executive from a business partner's company spoke first. The economic consequences are unavoidable. Wilson Properties' stock price is already plummeting. The market seems to be questioning Blaine Wilson's leadership. An uncle, a lawyer, murmured, "From a legal perspective, we have several options. There's potential for a damages claim over the wedding contract breach, and perhaps a shareholder derivative suit over the harm to the company's reputation." But Skylar, calm yet resolute, shook her head. This isn't about money. All I wanted was my family's love. Her words fell into the room like a heavy silence. Her grandfather stood slowly, the weight of the Wilson family's history and pride evident in his every step. This is the right decision, on the honor and pride of our family. His voice carried an authority that seemed to command respect from every corner of the room. Everyone gathered together for a final photograph, forming a large circle around the bride and groom. There was no hesitation in their faces now. It was clear that the bonds of this new family were not only intact, but had become even stronger in the face of adversity. At the photographer's signal, the shutter clicked, and at that moment, the church bells began to toll. The photo was posted immediately afterward, accompanied by a solemn declaration signed by all 50 of the gathered guests. Today, we, the extended family, declare a complete severance of ties with Blaine Wilson, Meredith Wilson, and Kendall Wilson, who have trampled on the family bond and broken the most sacred of promises. The relationship between the Wilson and Chen families. As the post went live, the spring sunset poured light through the church's stained glass windows. Rainbow-colored beams scattered across the venue, as though blessing the birth of a new family. Skylar squeezed Jasper's hand tightly. The tears had stopped flowing. Her eyes now sparkled with a strong resolve for the life she was about to begin. Outside the window, cherry blossom petals fluttered gently in the fading light, symbolizing the end of old bonds and the start of new ones. As the evening settled quietly over Greenwich, the news of what had unfolded today was only beginning to make waves. The impact would echo far beyond the venue, rippling through both the digital and real-world spaces. 1 year later, Greenwich welcomed another spring. The cherry blossoms in St. Mary's Church garden bloomed as beautifully as last year. However, many things had changed. In this year, the wedding incident spread throughout the United States through social media and was widely covered by various media outlets. It became a social phenomenon described as the downfall of a family addicted to social media and a warning to modern society. The downfall of the Wilson family came swiftly and unexpectedly. Blaine Wilson's reputation took a devastating hit when he immediately lost his lucrative contract with Anderson Mall, resulting in a $10 million loss in annual transactions. One by one, other major business partners followed suit, terminating their contracts with Wilson Properties. "We cannot trust a manager who can't even maintain family ties," became an unspoken rule in the business world. 6 months later, the stock price of Wilson Properties plummeted to its lowest point since its founding. Under intense pressure from shareholders, Blaine was forced to step down as president, relegated to running a small, unremarkable real estate brokerage. Meredith Wilson's fall from grace was even more dramatic. Her Instagram post about the wedding day, which she had so proudly shared, sparked an immediate and overwhelming backlash. Within 24 hours, her account was frozen, and she was quickly ostracized from her social circles. Relationships she had spent years cultivating crumbled in an instant. Unable to afford her frequent spa treatments, she now spent her days sighing deeply, staring at her reflection in the mirror. Diagnosed with depression, she became reclusive, her life reduced to confinement within the walls of her home. Kendall, Meredith's daughter, faced an equally harsh reality. As an influencer who had once commanded attention, her reputation plummeted after being labeled as the influencer who betrayed her family. Her follower count dropped to just a few hundred within a week, and all of her sponsorship deals were swiftly terminated. Having lost her position as financial director at her father's company, she now works part-time at a small cafe, a job she had once looked down on, but now, ironically, the only work she could find. While the Wilson family spiraled downward, the Schuyler family's bonds grew stronger. Just last month, Skylar and Jasper announced their first pregnancy, a post that garnered over 100,000 likes and countless congratulatory comments. Brielle Anderson eagerly accepted the role of godmother, saying, "I have received the greatest role of my life." Her words filled with genuine affection. Skylar's career in pediatrics flourished, and her hobby of photographing children's smiles had transformed into a popular feature called Today's Smile on the hospital's official social media page. The new family continued to grow closer, with every Sunday spent together at Brielle's mansion. "We've become a true family, beyond blood ties," her grandfather would say during their dinners, and every time, they would nod in agreement. Monthly family photos were taken not for social media, but to capture the pure joy of these shared moments. These photos radiated genuine happiness, reflecting the strength of their newfound family. Recently, 50 people gathered at St. Mary's Church for a special mass celebrating their first wedding anniversary. The pastor, who had witnessed the transformation of their family, spoke words of blessing. "As a witness, I can say that true family is built by hearts that care for and support each other. You have shown us the most beautiful form of this." Skylar placed her hand on her belly, where new life was growing, while Jasper embraced her gently. Around them, their new family beamed with warm smiles. Though the wedding incident occasionally resurfaces on social media, it is no longer a tale of bitterness or anger. The story has shifted into one of resilience and the power of choice. True family lies not in blood ties, but in bonds forged by the heart. This lesson quietly echoes in the hearts of many, offering a fresh perspective to those living in today's world. In the church garden, the spring breeze stirred the cherry blossoms once again. The scene was just as beautiful as the previous year, but its meaning had changed. Now, it seemed to bless the unity of this new family, one built on love, understanding, and the bonds that truly matter. Have you ever experienced a moment where everything you thought you knew about family and love was turned upside down, only to discover that true connections aren't defined by blood, but by the strength of our choices and actions? Skylar's wedding day was supposed to be a joyful celebration, but when her family chose a vacation over her wedding, it marked a painful betrayal that set the stage for a new kind of family bond. Brielle Anderson, a family friend and businesswoman, stepped in to offer the love and support Skylar's own family could not. The event, shared on social media, became a powerful statement of resilience and a warning about the dangers of prioritizing social media over real connections. As Skylar and Jasper began their new life together, they created a new family, one built on love and commitment, not blood ties. The story of their wedding became a symbol of strength and unity, a lesson that resonated beyond their personal lives. From the perspective of personal growth and resilience, Skylar's journey illustrates the transformative power of adversity. The betrayal by her family could have been an insurmountable obstacle, yet it became the catalyst for her to redefine what family means. Her willingness to open her heart to the genuine love and support offered by Brielle and her new extended family speaks volumes about the power of choice. Instead of dwelling on anger or seeking revenge, Skylar embraced the love that was present, allowing herself to heal and grow stronger. This shift from hurt to empowerment demonstrates that the bonds we choose to nurture, those founded on trust, support, and mutual respect, are often far more meaningful than those we inherit by birth. Have you ever had to rebuild your sense of family after a painful betrayal? How did you move forward, and what did you learn about the true meaning of connection? What do you think makes a family? Is it the people you're born to, or the ones who choose to stand by you when it matters most? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's have an open conversation about the power of love, the strength of chosen families, and the lessons we can learn from our most difficult moments.